Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are back with a brand new review for Ready to Love Season 4 Episode 6, Second Shot at Love. Okay. It ain't giving what needs to be gave, child. It just ain't giving what needs to be gave, but we gonna get into it as we get into it. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. If you are back for a second or third time, then welcome back. Y'all, please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you get anything out of the content. Now, child, let's get into it if we gonna get into it. When the episode first opens up, all the men, they meet up at the gentleman's lounge, and nephew Tommy tells Sean the ins and out because, you know, he's the new kid on the block. Okay, so he tells them that, guys, we're halfway through. Give yourselves a round of applause. Halfway through. Baby, when he said halfway through, I said, okay. Now this shows me right here. This is how I know this season isn't what it needs to be. I don't even really know the people's names. How on earth is it almost over and I still don't feel connected to any of the cast? Like, not one person can I say, like, okay, y'all know this person's going to do this. It's like I really feel like they're on episode 2. Child, this is a fool. So he tells them to take someone out that deserves a second chance and someone that they may have missed a connection with. So, child, we're going to see how this goes. In the next scene, Walter goes to meet with Zadia for a date, and he says, you know, he had an instant connection with Sabrina, and he and Zadia always talked in passing. So now, you know, they're about to get into it as they get into it. So Zadia and Walter, they meet for a little mani-pedi action, and they start going in on each other's feet. And, you know, they got a little cute little banter going on and whatnot, you know, talking about each other back and forth. And he told her she looks like she picks up quarters with her feet. I was like, boy, and you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the episode of Martin when Myra went to Shanae's shop and she had to get that pedicure. And she said, you got to go to work on Myra's feet. That's all I could think about was her having that chainsaw and sawing down Zadia's feet. Child, that's a fool. Moving forward. So they start talking about what excites Walter, and he says he's excited about family and starting his own traditions, and she liked the fact that family is important to him. So he tells her he was raised by women, and she was like, okay, so how does that translate for you? Because some men are raised by women and they love their mothers, but they hate women. And baby, that's all facts. Do y'all hear me? Okay, you can be a mama's boy, but then you turn around and be like, so you're responsible for this, ain't okay, you're responsible for that. So he tells her about how things went with his wife and how he had to decide what type of man he wanted to be. Because basically he was for the streets. And then he realized that that wasn't the life for him. But as I'm listening to Walter talk to Zadia, I'm still on the same page that I was on last week and the week before that. He just seems like a smooth talker to me. I don't know. It just doesn't, I don't know. It doesn't seem genuine. But that's just me. So she says she's liking this side of Walter, and what he shared put him in a different light. So she asked Walter what color she should choose for her feet, right? He said, how about magenta? Not the magenta, Mr. Walter, sir. Child, if that wasn't an old man color choice. Baby, don't forget to get that magenta. Sir, I will not be choosing magenta. Okay, it's a hell no, but thank you for the input. Zadia said, no, sir, honey, white toes only. So the technician was like, you know, white toes get you chose. Oh, do they? Because I usually choose whatever color I want. Or maybe that's why I'm single. Moving forward. So he said, you know, I really enjoyed the conversation and it's a possibility for a spark. That's what he said in his confessional. Well, child, if y'all can get into it and get into it. But me, quite frankly, I see nothing. I wasn't feeling the two of them together. It didn't give me the feels. Okay, I feel like both of them adapt to their dates. Like Zadia and Walter seem like social chameleons. Like wherever you put them, they'll pretty much adapt. When she was on a date with Tyrone, she was very, you know, into what he was saying and very comforting. When she was out with Naim and Dante on the double date, they were giving the sexual innuendos and the sensual vibes, and she was putting on with the sensual vibes. Then when she gets over here with Walter and they're shooting slugs back and forth about their feet, I mean, she can hang with him in that aspect. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just not given. And when he was sitting over in that forest with my meme last week, he was naming flowers and whatnot. So I just don't trust it. He gonna get somewhere and tell you a life story if he don't do nothing else. Moving forward. He said, you know, men don't choose women. Women choose men. All facts. Okay, Walter, I got to give it to you. All facts. He was like, are you trying to choose me? She said, sorta, kinda, sorta. Girl, goodbye. Anywho, in the next scene, Sean goes to meet Sabrina. Sabrina likes her some Sean, child. She was like, when I saw him, I was like, ooh, yes. So as they're getting into it, she tells him she's going to teach him Korean. Now I say, what now? Now when Tyrone was singing you that song, you had no idea. Now you sitting here with Sean like, you too fine to be laying down in bed alone. I could teach you how to speak my language, Rosetta Stone. Shout out to Drake. Like, girl, do you know it or not? Or do you just know those 2 words? Girl, I'm not about to play with you. So, child, she hit him with the Mani Ipuda, which means beautiful. Okay, she was like, so you could tell me I'm beautiful and whatnot. So he was like Mani Ipuda. Okay, so he finally got it and what. So then he hit her with the itchy gitchy ya ya da da, and she was like, okay, cool. I'm like, child, this is a mess. I didn't know what she was saying, but he was trying to learn, child. So I guess that's a plus. So, but Sabrina, I thought you said you didn't know Korean. I just could not get over this. Girl, you just didn't like Tyrone with his little shifty-eyed self. I understand, child. I understand. So then they had a little chopstick fight. Honey, at least they having fun. Child, I don't know what's going on this season. They started talking about their connections, and she said, look, I don't want you to see my representative. I don't want to present her because that's all that I've dated my entire life. Well, listen to me, sis. I can relate to that all too well. So she tells him about her daughter and how she doesn't want her seeing all these different men. Because, y'all, let me tell y'all something, honey. I remember my aunt would always have a different uncle for my cousins. It was a fool. Do y'all hear me? I was like, now, who is that? They was like, that's Uncle Larry. I'm like, girl, what Uncle Dan just over there last week? Child, that auntie was a mess. Do y'all hear me? So he says he wants to get to know her. This is what he said in his confessional. So then he asked her if she's done with children. She's like, yeah. He said, well, I'm not. I want children. He said, I've always just went along to get along in the past, but it hasn't served me well. He said, look, I like you, but 3 months from now, will I want this? Now, I appreciated him being straightforward with his expectations. I mean, it's no sense in wasting time. I hate that her not wanting kids is hindering her because all of these men want kids and she don't. So, I mean, I don't think her match is there. So then she was like, look, I might see some red flags. How? Like, he's just stating what he wants. He said, I don't want to put her through this. I want to make a true decision. I feel like I may have worded it wrong because what I was simply saying is I don't want to get my heart into something that my head will say, look, this ain't going to work. But being open is what this process is about, right? Yes, being open, but not compromising on what you want and wasting somebody's time. Sir, you are a red flag. What are you talking about? Like, it hasn't worked in the past. So why would you want it to work now? Because you're on TV and they're saying that you should be open to it? No, if you want kids, then you want kids. But my thing is this. I heard you in them previews for next week say you could only pay a bill or 2. Shout out to KG. If you can only pay a bill or 2, sir, then a kid you do not need. I'm just saying. Moving forward. Anywho, child, it ain't gonna work. If you want kids and she don't want kids, it ain't gonna work. She said, so what do you want right now? He said, I want you right now. Okay, Sean playing games, Sean. Sabrina looked at him, looking all pretty and batted those eyes, and he forgot everything that he just said. Listen, sis, he's getting ready to waste your time. I'm just telling you right now. He said, I really like her style and her grace. To all the ladies in the place with style and grace, allow me to lace these lyrical douches in your bushes. Shout out to Notorious B.I.G. I don't know why that just made me think of it. So anywho, he said that he likes her style and grace and a lot of things about her. And, with her, it just makes sense. Sean, you just want to sleep with Sabrina. Hey, let's just call a spade, okay? She a fine woman, of a particular age, still holding, and you just want to lay on down because you looked right at this lady and asked her if she wanted kids, and she said no, and you said yes. So therefore, and thus and such, why are you still sitting here talking about her style and grace? Boy, goodbye. So then he tells her he wants another date because he's not a time waster. Okay. I don't think you're fully reformed yet. I really don't. If that's the case, then you and Aisha could have given it a go. Sabrina, child, all I'm going to say is be careful. Moving forward. She's like, look, I had my reservations, but the rest of the date went well. Okay, child, if you like it, I love it. In the next scene, Aisha and her blonde wig and Phil, they go for a date. Hey, girl. And Aisha said Phil surprised her when she had that car accident because he was there for her. He was calling, he was checking on her, making sure she was okay. You know what? Phil sure did go to her aid when she had that car accident. Okay, Phil might be a stand-up guy. He flew a little bit under my radar. Well, everybody under my radar, child, because I didn't know we were halfway through the process. Halfway through the process. Shout out to Tommy. Like, this is a fool. This is a mess. So Aisha and Phil, they share a little banter. And sis says she doesn't use paper plates, honey. Her friends call her bougie because she loves to cook. Her favorite food is lobster. And of course he said he knew that, which is why they were eating a lobster dish. Listen to me, y'all. Aisha gonna sit down in a nice restaurant patio area in a freakum dress if she don't do nothing else, honey. And sis gonna eat. She said, you will feed me whilst you get to know me. Baby, Aisha gonna sit down and eat. Do y'all hear me? So Phil asked her if she wanted kids, and Aisha shares that she's gotten comfortable with Phil. This is what she said in the confessional. Aisha, that confessional wig. Now, I don't know if you done cut this wig here and made it into something else. Don't do that no more. Okay? Don't do that no more. I don't like that blonde wig. I don't like it when it's short. I don't like it on a plane. I don't like it in a train. I do not like it, Sam. I am. Like, I don't like it. So anywho, so Aisha shares that she's gotten comfortable with Phil and told him, certain things, and she feels safe with him. Phil does seem like he offers comfort. It's just a vibe that he gives off that he's a good listener. So she said, she feels like she has to say why she doesn't want kids. So she tells him, look, I trust you, so I'm going to be very transparent. I almost lost my 2 children twice. And then I had 1 miscarriage because I don't carry kids well. Oh, Aisha. Well, listen, honey, at least God, I'm speaking directly to you, honey. At least God blessed you to be able to become a mom, okay? And twice. So you did it, girl, you did it. And please do not think that just because you had difficulty carrying your pregnancy, that is somehow a reflection of the type of woman or the woman that you are. Okay, I don't want you to think that. But I understand your feelings of not wanting to let the man in your life down, but that's just something that you cannot control. So she said, she fears if she tries to give her husband a kid, she can't bring his child into this world. And I was really impressed by how vulnerable she was in that moment. And I'm sure by sharing that, she's probably helping someone else with the same feelings, and they don't know how to verbalize it. So she's probably helping someone else. So Phil gets up to cover her and to comfort her, and he kneeled down beside her, and it was a very sweet moment. That was very sweet. Let me tell y'all something. This was the moment. Listen, Phil won me over with this. He really did. He was genuinely concerned. He was really comforting her, and I liked that. Now, I already liked Aisha, but her sharing her fear made me like her even more. Moving forward. So he said, he appreciates her being very vulnerable with him, and it's those moments that define them. Yes, sir, for the definition of it all. Child, y'all better get into the dictionary. Moving forward. So then she grabs him by the hands and she says, look at me. And she tells him that she says she doesn't want kids to mask the fact that she's afraid to fail. And baby, they got deep emotionally on this day. Do y'all hear me? I said yes for the deep emotional connection. And child, now we over here in the next scene, and Naim is on a date with Camille. Ooh, child, let's get into it. He said initially she looked like she didn't want to be bothered. Yes, she has those facial expressions acting like a caricature with a hint of RBF. Girl, fix your face. Like, she is literally the definition. If fix your face were a person, it would be Camille. You know how your mama would look at you after she just got through saying something to you didn't like when you were a teenager, and she would say, fix your face. That is Camille. Now, child, let's continue. So they get their food, and she's like, feed me, Seymour. Shout out to Little Shop of Horrors. So she want him to feed her and whatnot. So he feeds her, which was awkward. This whole scene and this whole date was cringe. Okay? It was giving very much cringe fest. So he feeds her, and he's like, okay, wide mouth. It wasn't that big. And that's what she said. Oh, my God. What in the awkwardness? Child, he is not feeling Camille romantically at all. She's not feeling him, and you guys are wasting our time. So she was like, we could be good friends. I mean, he fed me oysters. So then the producer said, do you know that oysters are aphrodisiacs? She's like, well, he ain't getting no coochie. I'm like, ugh, oh my gosh, just so crass. Okay, Camille. Oh, child. So they started talking about their day, and she asked if he wanted kids. He said, well, I'm more focused on the woman first. She's like, well, how many kids do you want? He said, let's start with 1. Boy, just say you don't want no kids and be done with it. Oh, lad, you don't want no kids. The way you're answering these questions, you don't want kids. Child, get on over there with Sabrina. Child, this is a mess. So she mentions her son. I was like, no, she got a son. Acting like that? So she asked if they got serious, how would he fit into her son's life? He said, I'm not trying to be his dad, but I don't want to be looked at as, oh, that's Nye, or that's Mr. Bilal, or however he'll call my name. She's like, he called you Mr. Nye. And all I could think of was Bill Nye, the science guy. I'm like, now he gonna call you Mr. Nye. Child, y'all know I play all day. So she asked about finances. Okay, girl. He's like, what? I pay for everything and you shop? Baby, Naim does not want to do any spending at all. Do y'all hear me? Honey, you better have your own. I love her because she got her own. Shout out to Neo, because, honey, he ain't paying. Do y'all hear me? He is not paying. He said, I really feel like it's a red flag when a woman brings up finances. She's like, well, it is over 6 figures, right? Okay, Camille just trying to take her school play talents to Broadway, because it ain't no way. It ain't no way that y'all can convince me that she's being real. I feel like she putting on for these cameras, because this season is dry. So, you got to do something to liven it up and give it a little bit of zhuzh. So I'm feeling like that's what she's trying to do. But if she isn't, playing, she trying to get somebody to pay for those student loans. Honey, I said what I said and I ain't changing it. Them loans she told Cornelius about, and honey, you ain't fooling me. Moving forward. So he's like, I know she didn't just ask me that. Yeah, she definitely asked you, bro. She definitely asked you about your dividends. So, child, she was met with no answer because Naim was acting like he ain't hear nothing she said, and he refused to answer her. But, sir, what are the figures figuring for? Because you told Zadia you were going to shower her with love and affection. So, it sounded like the mad thing mad then. I'm kind of not mad at that question a little bit. Moving forward. So then he asked her about how she shows a man she's interested while they're dating. She said, well, if I'm not interested, the text is going to sit there for like a few days, at least 2 or 3 days. Okay, so you don't listen actively either. He asked you how you show a man you are interested, not how you aren't interested. Oh, bonehead girl, what's wrong with you? He was like, look, she's crazy. It lets me know that there are different sides and personalities to her. And he wasn't really feeling it. She's definitely animated with several voices playing in that head of hers. He said he's looking for someone more grounded. Yeah, it wasn't given. Let's continue. In the next scene, Dante, Mamim, Sabrina, and Shoulders, aka Frank, they go on a double date. At the start of the outing, they're playing putt-putt golf, and Mamim was like, I really like Dante. We laugh at a lot of the same things. Child, Mamim like everybody. So Sabrina and her knickerbockers, or her capris, if you will, they pulled Dante to the side, and she was looking like Dante's aunt, honey, with them glasses and whatnot, sitting next to him. And it was very awkward, but they were talking. And on the other side was Frank and Mamim, and they're eating something, honey. I don't know if it was a donut hole. I don't know what it was, but they're reenacting Lady and the Tramp. I would not put anything in my mouth that Frank has touched. Like, not nothing, okay? Especially in the middle of this panini. Oh, absolutely not. Oh, no, ma'am. So Mamim said, she's been having her eye on Frank, and she loves his vibes and his vision, and, she feels like he's going to take them somewhere. Didn't I tell y'all? She like everybody. Everybody. Yeah, he gonna take y'all somewhere behind that bar to shimmy them shoulders as a couple. Girl, goodbye. Child, this season is some foolery. Oh my gosh, hurry up and end, honey. I'm happy we halfway through, child. We almost there. I know it's the ladies' week to be eliminated, but she seems like it doesn't take much for her to be interested. I don't like that. You can't like everybody. It's like, look, you gotta have some mystique about you. You can't be everywhere. Like, child, it's a fool. So Frank said, it's our first date, and they talk daily, and she asked about his values. He told her that he values family. Child, not the standard answer. Everybody valuing family. Okay, let's get into it. So they pan back over to Miss Trinidad. Shout out to Martin. They pan back over to Miss Trinidad, aka Sabrina and Dante. And they go back over there, and she's telling him about her daughter's father being absent, but it was a blessing. So then Dante said he had 2 girls and 1 boy and 3 different children's mother. Thank you, next. Like, absolutely not. Thank you, next. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to be bothered. It's no way I'm about to embark in that foolishness, no matter how copacetic that you say it is. I'm just not about to do that. I'm so sorry. He tells her, yeah, we're all cool because I don't do drama. She's like, that's pretty amazing. He said, I like that Sabrina empathized with me having 3 kids when most women would X me out because of it. Yes, sir. I'm most women. Hello. I would like to say my name is Misha and I am most women. Ciao, goodbye. I'm not about to do that. I'm sorry. It's not the number of children. It's the number of exes you made yet another single mother. Honey, I mean, like, it didn't work with at least one of them. Not nobody. Okay. I don't know. I'm skeptical of that. I'm just saying, honey, that's just my opinion. Child, Sabrina happy you got 3 so you won't ask her for none. That's what's really going on. Anywho, moving forward. Back over with Head and Shoulders, he's asking her about waiting till marriage. He's like, so you've already been to that place, right? Boy, not you trying to ask her if she a virgin on the slick. Ugh. Something about Frank I'm just not fond of. I just can't get into it as I get into it. He's not giving the zhuzh that I need. She said, yeah, it's a choice that I made, and I just don't like leading with that. Now, I respect that. I really do. And she wants to connect to someone outside of that. So he said, yeah, I'm very hypersexual. Ugh. I would not want Frank shaking them shoulders on top of me. Do y'all hear me? Child, goodbye. Basically, he ain't down for the chastity belt of it all. Now, even after he told her all that, she goes, him being up front was refreshing, and I really want to talk more to him after that. Why, girl? Why? He literally is saying, I'm not abstaining from sex. So if you are, then not a match you make. Girl, oh my goodness, child. Frank said they're getting closer, so it may trump the sexual side of it. You a Trump lie. Honey, you are not going to wait for sex. The way you gyrate them shoulders, child, you ain't waiting for no sex. Child ain't got no time to be playing with y'all. Anywho, let's continue. Moving forward. In the next scene, Sean has a date with Tysia. I'm like, oh, okay, so they put Sean over there with Tysia because child, she done went through all the other men and they are not fond of Tysia. Do you hear me? Sean getting all the dates. What was the cute little new girl? What was her name? Child, see, this is what I'm saying right here. Y'all done threw these new people in here and we're halfway through the process. I can't even remember the original cast and now I gotta remember new people. So anywho, I didn't see her this episode and I didn't see Shiloh either. Back to the date. Sean and Tysia, they're on a date and she tells him a little bit about herself. They started talking about their southern roots and him growing up in the church and her being spiritual, and she asked him if he wants kids. Honey, of course he does. She's like, oh, okay, well, the clocks are ticking. My mama and them waiting too. Child, come on, gotta get into it as we get into it. And y'all know what's so interesting about that? I was the same exact way at her age, but then I had my son at 32. I'm not sure. I think she's 33. But I had my son at 32, and I was so like, oh my God, the clock is ticking. I have to get pregnant. And I realized that I actually do have more time than I think. There is this black OBGYN on TikTok that will tell you everything you need to know about being a woman of a particular maternal age, honey, that will have you saying, you know what, I got time. And child, I love it. I can't think of her name, honey, but that's just a side note. So anywho, back to the drama. Okay, so they have that in common and their southern roots and whatnot. And I do appreciate the fact that finally Tysia got a date that actually she looks like she's enjoying, because every other time she looks miserable and she hasn't really had connections with anyone. So this was refreshing. But then she goes, so technically we're in 2 different generations. How do you feel about that? Well, y'all get into it then. She's like, are you open to a pretty young thing swinging your way? He said, as long as the pretty young thing is open into things swinging her way. Shawty swing my way. Shout out to KP and Envy. Not y'all swinging together, child. This is a fool. Moving forward. Cornelius goes to meet with Courtney and her main. Girl, come on in and sit down. Courtney gonna put on a dress, sans bra, if she don't do nothing else. Child, them things gonna hang if they don't do nothing else. Cornelius, you misunderstood the assignment, okay? They didn't say go on a date with the girl Camille forbids you to date. They said go on a date with someone you want to see that is different. But anywho, honey, carry on, because you already had a connection with Courtney, so you shouldn't even be over here on this date. And Courtney, get your hand from the middle of that man's thigh. So, child, they stuffed on this little bit-toe couch, and they start talking. Now, I feel like this was strategic. Well, why do you have them two ever so close thigh to thigh? Y'all know how I feel about thigh to thigh action. Now, y'all thigh to thigh on this couch, and this man is trying to remain abstinent. So she brought him to do a little rum tasting. Now that Corey and his one-liners are gone, that's who she's really feeling. So he's drinking the rum, right? And he's like, I might need a designated driver. And she's like, oh, you want me to take you home? Child, don't threaten her with a good time. She ready to go home and stretch out, okay, at your house. I'm pretty sure that Courtney could get laid outside of this show, but she's overtly sexual and she's leading with it. And it's very off-putting. It's like, girl, you're a cute girl. Like, keep it in your britches. Girl, goodbye. So he tells her that he's rooted in his faith, but he's human and things can happen. Are you having sex or are you not having sex, Cornelius? Okay, because I feel like he always gives a disclaimer in case he accidentally on purpose falls short. Boy, if you are standing strong in your conviction, then you don't need to keep saying, but it could happen. Like, don't even give her that. She's not the type of woman you can say those types of things to because she oversteps boundaries. So he asked her if she was okay with if he says, let's just chill out, for a second. She was like, well, what is a second? Cornelius has a hard time standing his ground. I've noticed that. He did the same thing over there with Camille. He lacks leadership qualities. Like, just make it plain. Are you okay with no sex? If not, then you are not the woman for me. Like, just make it plain. He said, I'm Christian through and through. And when I said that I wanted to wait for sex before marriage, it was a red flag because she didn't want to wait. Well, you didn't act like it was a red flag in that moment. That's why she doesn't know that it's a red flag. And get your hand off this man's thigh, girl. So he's telling her that waiting for sex gives them something to look forward to. She's like, well, it's going to be hard with you. Well, according to him, that's the only thing that's going to be hard because no sex shall be had. Okay. She said, I'm a really sexual person and I get what I want. Look, well, you might want to get over there with Frank because he's overly sexual and you're leading with the sex of it all. So, really, what more is there to do? Courtney doesn't respect boundaries at all. She just wants the sexuals of it all. She ain't listening to nothing he's saying. She's like, well, I don't know how you feel about dating a boss, but I make happen. Lady, what does that even mean? What does that mean? He's like, I want a woman with conviction, and it seems like she doesn't want to wait. She doesn't want to wait. She wants to conquer you. She just wants to be able to say, she's kind of like a bro in a dress. Okay, she wants to be able to say, I hit that. I hit it first. Shout out to Ray J. That's what she wants to do. Okay, she does not want any man for love, according to what I'm seeing. Now, I might be wrong, but for me, I feel like she just wants to conquer and lay down somebody, honey. She was willing to lay down with Corey. Child, that says all you need to know. In the next scene, all the guys meet back up at the gentleman's lounge, and Tommy asked if the experiment had changed anything. And they were like, yeah, it did. Walt said he sees why everybody likes Zadia. She's another one that seems like everybody's homegirl. I don't know what it is. He said they had, 3 conversations in passing, but she's really cool. And he said he still has a connection with Sabrina, but Zadia is coming up. And so Naim looking a little perturbed, okay? He seemed a little taken aback. He's like, oh, okay. They don't call her Zadia the body for nothing. Oh, that's what y'all calling her? Okay, so y'all feeling Zadia? That's giving me Kyra. That's giving me Kyra right there. Okay, y'all remember how every man was feeling Kyra all of a sudden? And we were like, where did that come from? We saw her on a few dates and all of a sudden everybody was like, boom, Kyra, Kyra, Kyra. So Zadia, okay, giving me a little Kyra tease. Phil talks about his conversation and his connection with Aisha, but Shiloh is still up there. So Sean talked about his connection with Tysia. Honey, I didn't see that coming. Dante said he's feeling Zadia and Shiloh. Frank said a little something about my meme. Child, I don't know what it was. Cornelius talked about Courtney and how she came on strong. He said she seems like she's still a young party girl. She does, okay? When she liked Corey, I knew there was some red flags. Okay, same with my meme. Child, y'all better look into it. Frank named Courtney as far as someone that will be in the bottom. Walter said Courtney, could be the homie, and he hasn't talked to Aisha, so she could also be in his bottom. Dante said Tysia. Phil said Sabrina. Child, these names are all over the place. Like, nobody really has a connection with anybody. So Naim talked about Camille being too much on their date. Like, she was just team too much. Then a few of the other men, they chimed in. And they were saying Camille this and Camille that. And baby Cornelius was feeling away. I don't know why. Didn't she cuss you out last episode? Oh, so that's what you like? Oh, okay. If she gets eliminated, you may as well go too because you don't click with nobody else. So you can take her and all of her gift-worthy faces and ride on out. Child, y'all can go. Moving forward, Walter goes to meet with Courtney in the next scene for a date. So Camille goes to meet with Dante. And let me just say this, honey. I got my feelings about Camille, but that orange on her skin tone, yes, ma'am. Camille is stacked, okay? The girl is stacked. I just wish she wouldn't act the way that she does. Like, you could have given so much more. This is such a disappointment. So as soon as she gets there, she's like, my expectations aren't great. I'm not interested in him. See, this is exactly why you are on this fake eliminate. Y'all remember that BET show, Eliminate? I don't know what made me think of that, but that's what I'm going to start calling it. It's time for the eliminate. So she sits down. She starts snapping her fingers. She's like, come on. I got to go. I got to be at this class at 7. So get into it if we're going to get into it. She's so rude. You're rude. You're disrespectful. It's really hard to watch. It's awful the way that her and her crooked part behave. It really is. So over on the other side, Courtney thinks she's on a real date with Walter, child. She getting cozy and whatnot, ordering drinks. She's over there talking about her aggressiveness, child. So Dante is on the other side, and he feels like she knows why she's there because she's starting to act a little different, right? And he's asking her how she feels dating 10 guys. She's like, I haven't dated 10 guys. I made a connection with the one that I desire as a mate. Well, then you should have went on something else, honey. You should have gone on something else. On the other side, Walter is telling Courtney that the guys feel that she gives off homie vibes. It's childish vibes to me. Very immature vibes for me. So she brings up the double date. Walter said, yeah, and y'all were all on Cornelius. Like, why was I even there? Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Back over on the other side, Dante is telling her she hasn't taken the time to get to know any of the other guys. Yes, because she sunk her teeth into Cornelius. That's why she hasn't gotten to know anybody else. She's like, if I don't like you, then I'm going to put you in the friend zone. That's just what I'm going to do. So Dante is still trying to tell her that she's not on the men's radar, and she's getting defensive. And then he says, the men decided that you are not ready to go home yet. Why? I know what it is. I'm not even gonna sit here and ask why, child. Y'all trying to throw Cornelius a bone, and they gotta keep her around for the antics, honey. We need the theatrics of it all. Otherwise, we would really be asleep. Like, let's just keep it real. If we didn't have Camille acting the way she's acting, what would we really be talking about? Absolutely nothing. But we should have gone ahead and did a double elimination. So she's like, the men hating on me, and that's fine, but don't send me home because I'm not feeling you. Ugh. Dante was being very patient, honey. More patient than most men. I don't know how he got through it. Moving forward, Walter tells Courtney, the men feel that you are not ready to love. She said, it's all good. And then in her confessional, she said, I felt off after I got eliminated. And then she started getting really emotional. And she was saying something that her mom told her. And I'm just sitting here like, girl, had you shown more of that side instead of the sex kitten, it would have made a difference. Like, they would have gotten to know you. But instead, you led with what was between your legs. You thought you were going to come on here and be that girl. And that was the end of the episode. This episode was a snooze fest. Do you hear me? A snooze fest. That is why it took me so long to review it. I am so sorry about the wait. Y'all comment down below and tell me exactly what you thought about this episode. I thought that it should have been a double elimination. I think Frank should get over there with should have gotten over there with Courtney. I think Naim maybe needs to dip over there and see what's going on with Cornelius, because they're both on the same page. Although Camille did say that she wanted to wait until marriage. And I mean, just put Walter over there with Sabrina, but then again, he wants kids, so maybe not. So let's give Sabrina to Naim and let's call it a day. Don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.